Welcome back to TMRE. We're joined by David Boyle, Director of Customer Insights at Harrods. Hello, David.
Hey, thanks.
Good. Well, let's start by just talking about maybe some of the key themes that you're seeing coming out from the conference today.
Yeah, well, I think one key theme is how fast the world's changing and how complex it's getting really quickly. It feels that way whether you're in media and entertainment, in retail, any industry is feeling that now. That's a real problem though, if your job is to help your company to understand the world, and the world's getting ever more crazy. So how the hell do we keep up with all of this change, so many different types of change coming from so many different directions? This is a scale of a task that we've never had before as researchers in the old relatively stable world with one or two things shifting at a time.
No, it's a dynamic time at the moment. And how would you summarise the state of the industry in terms of some of the key challenges they're facing and some of the issues and opportunities?
I think the industry is in pretty good shape. There's so much innovation these days, whether it's machine learning applications on big data or whether it's fast DIY but high quality research tools and techniques. I think the industry is not the problem. I think the problem is, or the challenge is, if you're a client-side researcher, how do you find partners from that mass of people available to you? How do you work with multiple vendors instead of one big agency? You need three or four or five different relationships. And how do you get the right tool for the right problem? So much like the complexity on the issues in the industry side, you've got this huge complexity on the supplier side to deal with as well. So the innovation's there, but how do you access it and prioritize it?
And specifically for you and your research teams, what are the key areas of focus you're really into at the moment?
Well, I think that's the problem. There's just so many. Quant research across lots of different types of customer, each of which requires quite different types of research. In-store experience research. How did you feel about your shop today or your shop yesterday versus how do you feel about the store more broadly? What was the service level, so guest shop type things, and then to get under the skin of customers, you've got to spend time with them and talk to them. Some of our customers are very busy and super affluent, so how do you make time in their calendars and have the conversations you need to have with them? Quant research works very well in some other industries. It doesn't work that well with certain types of customer. So that's already quite a lot of different types of research that we need to do to solve any one problem, really.
And given the unrelenting pace of change that's going on for businesses and some of the larger corporations, if you had to give advice to the leadership teams of those organisations, what one piece of advice would you give?
Oh, that's a great question. I would say pick a big important topic. First of all, and too many people pick tactical topics or tactical problems. Pick a really big important topic and throw some resources at really understanding it. You're going to get really good at pulling together lots of different types of research, lots of different types of data and analytics. Get really good at solving that one problem and then scale that across lots of other types of problems. I think all too often people try a little bit of solving this tactical problem, a little bit of solving this. We never really get good at actually solving the problem. So we're always moving on to the next challenge. So pick one super big problem, get really good at solving it, and then you'll be much easier to solve all the tactical problems that come along after that.
And finally, this time next year when we return to the conference, what one thing will have stayed the same, what will be different, and what one thing will have really surprised us?
Wow. One thing will have stayed the same is the unrelenting pace of change and of innovation to help us to tackle those changes. What will have changed? Let's think. I think client-side researchers are going to be a lot more used to working with multiple vendors, a lot more used to building relationships and trusting people to advise them trusting a portfolio of different vendors to advise them rather than working with just one big research agency.
And the curveball, the thing that may have come left field?
I think unexpected data sources that just appear and solve problems you didn't know that could be solved. So we had social media data just suddenly appear out of nowhere or seemingly and take a whole lot of research questions off the table because it's just great data now to help you to understand people's affiliations and interests. And the Internet of Things in some places is coming along, just measuring loads of stuff that wasn't measured before, taking loads of survey questions off the table because now you've got great data on it. So I think some unexpected big data source or big source of data that's going to change what it means to do research and why we need to do research.
Perfect. Great. Thank you very much, David. That's great.
Thanks.
Cheers. Thank you.